I don't know where you're listening from today or what season of life you're walking through, but I want to speak something over your heart. God has not forgotten you. Those prayers you whispered in the dark, the ones that felt like they bounced off the ceiling, the tears you've cried in silence, they have been heard, and more than that, they are about to be answered. Sometimes it feels like God is silent, like nothing is shifting, nothing is moving, and the wait seems endless. But I came to tell you today, heaven has not gone quiet. Heaven has been working. God is not ignoring you. He is preparing something bigger than you imagine. The waiting season is not a wasted season. It's a building season. Let me remind you of something that happened in the book of John. In the Gospel according to John chapter 2, verses 6 to 10, we read, "Now there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now." Did you catch that last line? You have kept the good wine until now. That is what God is doing in your life. You may have felt like you've run out of strength, out of answers, out of time, but just as it seemed too late at the wedding, Jesus stepped in, not with leftovers, not with what was common, but with the best. He saved the best for last. God is about to do that in your situation. The answer may not come when you expect it, but it will come right on time. You see, God works in the fullness of time, not in your rush, not in your panic, but in His perfect sovereign timing. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 reminds us, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not." Some of you have been sowing faithfully, sowing prayer, sowing tears, sowing obedience, and you wonder when the harvest will come. Let me tell you, God is not unjust to forget your labor. He sees you, He remembers, and He is moving even when you cannot see it. The enemy would love for you to believe that nothing is happening, that God is ignoring you, that your prayers were a waste. But the truth is found in the book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8. "Thou tellest my wanderings, put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in thy book? Every tear you've cried is recorded. Not one is wasted. Every prayer you've prayed is remembered. Not one has been ignored." There are moments in life when it feels like the heavens are brass. You pray and all you hear is silence. You fast and still nothing breaks. But I want you to remember this: God does not forget what He promised. In the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verses 12 to 13, we see something powerful. "Then said He unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. From the first day Daniel prayed, he was heard." But spiritual warfare delayed the delivery. That means just because it hasn't shown up yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. Sometimes God has to shift things in the spirit before you see the answer in the natural. The breakthrough is not denied, it's simply being fought for. But God is not a man that He should lie, neither the Son of Man that He should repent. If He said it, He will do it. If He spoke it, He will bring it to pass. He is faithful, He is good, and He is not late. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed when no one saw you, the prayers you whispered through the tears, the prayers you offered when your strength was gone and all you could do was say, "Help me, Lord." Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23 says, "Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. Your waiting has not been in vain. Your faith has not been fruitless." There's a shift coming, a release, a divine response, not because you earned it, but because God is faithful to His word, not because you're strong enough, but because He is merciful enough. Let me tell you something. God has a way of showing up after the storm, after the silence, after the struggle, and doing what no one else can do. Keep praying, keep believing, keep waiting, because God is about to answer prayers you prayed. And when He answers, it won't just be enough, it will be more than enough. It won't just meet the need, it will exceed the expectation, because when God moves, He moves in abundance. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 declares, "Now unto Him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us." That's the kind of God you serve, a God who goes beyond the surface, a God who hears even the silent prayers, the ones you never had the words to speak. He listens not just to your words, but to the cry of your heart, the longings you couldn't articulate, the hopes you buried deep under disappointment. He heard that prayer too. Some of you have been praying for years for healing, for a family member to be saved, for breakthrough in your finances, for peace in your home, and the enemy has tried to convince you that nothing will change, that you might as well stop believing. But I declare to you today, in faith and in truth, God is about to answer those very prayers. It's not always going to happen the way you imagined. Sometimes the answer comes wrapped in surrender. Sometimes the answer begins with you. But when God steps in, what was stagnant starts moving, what was broken starts mending, and what was lost begins to return. Isaiah chapter 65 verse 24 says, "And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear." Do you understand what that means? It means the answer is already in motion. Before you even asked, God was preparing the response. He saw your situation before you walked into it, and He already mapped out the way through it. God is never surprised. He is never unprepared. He doesn't just meet you in the moment. He goes ahead of you. Exodus chapter 13 verse 21 says, "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night." That's the same God who goes before you now. Even in the wilderness, even in the waiting, He leads, He protects, and He provides. You may not see the whole picture yet, but the author of your story is still writing, and He never leaves a story unfinished. He's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, and He's your God too. The same one who parted seas, healed the sick, raised the dead, and fed multitudes. He is the one listening to your prayers. He's not distant. He's not indifferent. He's near to the brokenhearted. Psalm chapter 34 verse 17 to 18 says, "The righteous cry, and the Lord heareth and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit." So if you feel broken, you're not disqualified. You're exactly the kind of person God draws close to. If your spirit feels weak, you're not forgotten. You're exactly the one He strengthens. You see, prayer is not just a request, it's an invitation. When you pray, you are inviting the power of heaven into your situation. You're placing your trust in the hands of the one who holds the universe. So don't stop praying. Don't stop expecting. Don't stop believing, because God is about to answer those prayers you prayed. And when He does, you will know it was Him. It won't be a coincidence. It won't be luck. It will be the fingerprint of a faithful God who keeps His promises. When the answer comes, it will silence every doubt. It will redeem every tear. It will prove that delay is not denial. It is divine preparation. Some answers take time because they are being built with eternity in mind, not just your present moment. You asked for provision, but He's preparing promotion. You asked for peace, but He's building perseverance. You asked for a breakthrough, but He's creating something in you that will sustain the blessing once it arrives. God is not just answering the prayer, He's shaping the person. And when the answer comes, it will not just bless you, it will impact others around you. That's how God works. He multiplies. He takes what you placed in His hands and turns it into something that overflows. Remember the story in the Gospel according to Luke chapter 5 verses 4 to 6. "Now when He had left speaking, He said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep, and let down your nets for a draught. And Simon answering said unto Him, Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless at Thy word I will let down the net. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net brake. They had caught nothing all night. They had tried everything they knew, but at the word of Jesus everything changed. It only took one word, one moment of obedience, and what they couldn't accomplish in their own strength happened in an instant. That's what God is about to do in your life. He's about to take what's been empty and fill it. He's about to turn your nothing into more than enough. But here's something important. Simon almost missed it. He said, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. He was tired, discouraged, ready to stop. But then he said, nevertheless at Thy word. And that's the kind of faith that opens the heavens. Not perfect faith, not faith without questions, But faith that still obeys when it doesn't make sense. You may not understand how God will answer. You may not see the evidence yet, but if you keep trusting, if you keep obeying, if you keep saying, nevertheless, at thy word, then you're standing on the edge of a miracle. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 18 says, and therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For the Lord is a God of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. God waits sometimes, not because he's withholding, but because he wants the answer to come in a way that reveals his grace. He's not trying to frustrate you. He's setting the stage so that when he moves, no one else can take the credit. You won't be able to say it was the doctor or the connection or your qualifications. You'll say that was God, and that testimony will bring glory to him and encourage others. So let this encourage you today. The answer is closer than you think. Your name is still on heaven's schedule. Your cries are still before his throne, and your breakthrough is already marked with your name. And when that breakthrough arrives, you won't just see a shift around you. You'll feel a shift within you. The burden you've carried will suddenly seem lighter. The weariness in your soul will be replaced by a deep and lasting joy. Because when God answers a long-awaited prayer, it doesn't just resolve a situation, it renews your spirit. There is something holy about waiting, something sacred about continuing to believe, even when the evidence tells you not to. Because that's where real faith grows, not in the comfort of quick answers, but in the soil of persistent trust. James chapter 5, verse 16 reminds us, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. That means your prayers are not empty words. They're not just bouncing off the ceiling. They are powerful. They move heaven. They avail much. In the book of Revelation chapter 8, verses 3 to 5, we are given a glimpse of something profound. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. Your prayers are gathered before the throne. They are mixed with incense, something pleasing to God, and then in his timing they are sent back to earth with power. This is why you can't stop now. This is why you can't give up just because you haven't seen it yet, because in the Spirit your prayers have already been collected, and the moment of release is coming. God is not finished. He's not silent, and he is certainly not ignoring you. He's working behind the scenes, arranging, aligning, preparing, not just the answer, but the perfect moment for that answer to be revealed. In the book of Genesis chapter 21, verse 1 to 2, it says, and the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. It was not just any time, it was the set time, a divinely appointed moment. And when that moment arrived, what seemed impossible became reality. Sarah laughed when she first heard God's promise. She thought she was too old, that her time had passed. But God's promises are not limited by time, by age, by circumstance. What he said, he will do. Even now, God is aligning things in ways you couldn't imagine. He's preparing the right people, shifting the right doors, softening the right hearts. Because when he answers your prayer, it will not just be a solution, it will be a testimony of his power, a testimony of his timing, a testimony of his unfailing love. And that testimony will speak louder than your pain ever did. It will stand as a reminder, not just to you, but to everyone watching, that God is faithful to those who wait on him, that he does not abandon the cries of the righteous, that even in silence he is still speaking through his actions. So many people give up just before the breakthrough, just before the answer arrives. But let me encourage you, don't stop pressing in now. You may feel tired. You may feel like you've been walking through the same dry place for too long. But remember what the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. There is an appointed time, a moment already marked by heaven, and when it comes, it will speak. It will declare loud and clear that God has been faithful all along. The enemy would love for you to stop short, to believe the lie that nothing is changing, that the heavens are closed. But the truth is this: there is a spiritual momentum building behind the scenes. Every prayer you've prayed in faith has been stacking like a weight on heaven's altar. And when the time comes, those prayers will break through with power. Think of Elijah on Mount Carmel. In the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18, verses 42 to 44, we read, so Ahab went up to eat and to drink. And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth, and put his face between his knees, and said to his servant, Go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and looked, and said, There is nothing. And he said, Go again 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, Behold, there ariseth a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. At first the servant saw nothing, no sign of change, no shift in the sky. But Elijah kept praying, kept expecting. And on the 7th time a cloud appeared, small, barely visible, but it was enough, because God always sends a sign before the rain. That little cloud represented an answer in motion. It was the beginning of something much bigger. The drought was ending, and I believe many of you are at that very point. You've prayed, and like Elijah's servant, you've looked but seen nothing. But keep going. Look again, because there is a cloud forming, a shift in the atmosphere, a sign that the rain is coming. The prayers you prayed in the dark are about to bring fruit in the light. The seeds you planted in tears are about to be reaped in joy. Psalm chapter 126, verse 5 to 6 says, They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. You will come back rejoicing, not empty, but carrying the very thing you once only hoped for. So hold on, stay in position. Don't let go of the promise, because God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when he answers, it will come with a peace that settles every anxious thought. Not the kind of peace the world gives, temporary, shallow, based on circumstances, but the peace that Jesus spoke of in the gospel according to John chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. That's the peace that comes when the waiting ends and the answer arrives. The kind of peace that quiets storms, even if they've been raging for years. God does not forget. And more than that, he does not answer halfway. When God moves, he completes. When he begins something in you, he finishes it. Philippians chapter 1, verse 6 says, Being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. That means the same God who led you into this season will lead you out of it. The same God who allowed the delay is also the one who determines the delivery. Some of you have been carrying prophetic promises, words spoken over your life, dreams you believe were God-given, but time has tested them. And maybe you've started to wonder, did I hear him right? Was that really from God? Have I waited for nothing? But listen carefully. God does not lie. Numbers chapter 23, verse 19 declares, God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? If God spoke it, you can rest in it. You don't need to see how it will unfold. You just need to trust who gave the word. Because sometimes God answers when all natural options have run out. That's when he gets the greatest glory. That's when it's clear that it wasn't your strength, your plan, your effort. It was him. Think of Lazarus in the Gospel according to John chapter 11, verses 39 to 44. Jesus arrives after Lazarus has been dead for 4 days, and everyone thinks it's too late. Jesus said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? And he that was dead came forth. Do you see it? They thought the delay was the end, but to Jesus it was the setup. The delay was not neglect, it was divine design, because God didn't just want to heal Lazarus, he wanted to raise him. And for some of you, the thing you thought was dead, the promise, the opportunity, the dream is not dead, it's dormant. And God is about to call it out by name. He's about to speak life over the things you buried. Hope is coming back, joy is coming back, clarity is coming back, and it's coming because God is faithful to his word. This is the moment where your spirit needs to rise and remember who your God is. He is not just the God of beginnings, he is the God of resurrections. He's not intimidated by how long it's been. He's not limited by how far it's gone. He doesn't ask, how bad is it? He declares, is anything too hard for me? In the book of Genesis chapter 18, verse 14, when Sarah laughed at the idea of bearing a child in her old age, the Lord responded with a question, is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son at the time appointed. That means your miracle has a schedule, an appointment with your life. God's delays are never God's denials. Sometimes He pauses things not to punish you, but to prepare you, to build the kind of faith that won't just receive the answer, but carry it with wisdom, humility, and endurance. Because answered prayers come with responsibility. When God opens a door, He wants you to be ready to walk through it. When He blesses you, He wants you strong enough not to let that blessing crush you, and so He allows the wait, not to make you suffer, but to make you steady. Let's look at the life of Joseph. God gave him a dream that one day he would rise, that he would lead, that he would be lifted up above his brothers. But what came after the dream? Betrayal, false accusation, imprisonment, delay. It would have been easy to believe the dream had died, that maybe God had forgotten, but God was not finished. In the book of Genesis chapter 41 verses 14 to 16 we read, "Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace." Did you notice what happened? In one moment, Joseph went from the prison to the palace. In one day, what looked like a lifetime of waiting shifted into fulfillment. That's how God works. He doesn't need years to change your life. He just needs a moment. And when your moment comes, you won't have to force it, manipulate it, or chase it. It will find you, just like the answer is about to find you. Because some prayers don't get answered gradually. They arrive suddenly, like rain after drought, like light after night. Malachi chapter 3 verse 1 says, "And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to His temple." Suddenly, that means the God you've been waiting on is about to show up without warning, without announcement. And when He comes, everything changes. You may not see it yet, but something is shifting. Heaven is moving. The ground beneath your feet is being prepared. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed, not just for survival, but for restoration, not just for escape, but for purpose, not just for relief, but for overflow. And when that answer comes, it won't just restore what was lost. It will redeem the time. Because only God can take wasted years, delayed seasons, broken paths, and turn them into something beautiful and fruitful. He is the one who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, and barrenness into breakthrough. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verses 25 to 26, God speaks this promise. "And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And ye shall eat in plenty, and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, that hath dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed." Did you hear that? I will restore the years, not just the things, not just the opportunities, the years. That means even time is not a limitation to the God you serve. He can give you back more in one season than you lost in 10. Some of you feel like too much has been lost, too much time, too many chances, too many prayers that should have been answered by now. But let me tell you, God is not late, and He's not finished. In fact, He specializes in catching you up. He redeems the time, repurposes the pain, and releases a blessing that makes the wait worth it. And when He answers you, it will not come with sorrow attached. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 22 says, "The blessing of the Lord it maketh rich, and He addeth no sorrow with it." That means when God sends the answer, it won't come with confusion, chaos, or compromise. It will come with peace, with clarity, with joy. That's how you'll know it was Him. And here's what's powerful. You won't just recognize the answer when it arrives. The answer will recognize you, because it was made for you. It was preserved, protected, and hidden until you were ready. God has been orchestrating every detail behind the scenes. Even the delays were part of His design to make sure everything would come together in the right place, at the right time, in the right way. And when that moment comes, you'll understand why He made you wait. You'll see that what He's doing now is not just an answer to a single prayer. It's a response to every moment you chose faith over fear, obedience over compromise, praise over complaint. You've been faithful, you've been patient, you've stood firm, and now God is saying it's time. And when God says it's time, no force in hell can stop what He has ordained. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Hearts that were once hardened begin to soften. Resources that once seemed out of reach begin to flow. Because when heaven moves on your behalf, everything on earth must come into alignment. not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because you waited in faith. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31 says, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." Waiting is not weakness. Waiting is warfare. Because to wait with faith is to resist the temptation to settle. To wait is to declare, I will not lower my expectations. I will not create my own version of the promise. I will trust the one who gave it. And here is the truth. God honors that kind of faith. In the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 15, verses 22 to 28, a Canaanite woman comes to Jesus crying out for her daughter to be delivered from torment. Jesus doesn't answer her at first. The disciples want her sent away, but she keeps pressing, keeps asking, keeps believing. And in verse 28, Jesus says to her, "O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt." And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. She didn't receive because she was perfect. She received because she refused to give up, because she believed that Jesus was her only answer. And some of you have been holding on to a promise for a long time. You've heard the voice of doubt whisper, maybe it's not going to happen. You've felt the pressure to accept less than what God spoke. But deep inside, something in you won't let go. That's the faith God is responding to. Faith that says, even if I have to wait, I'll wait believing. Faith that says, even if I'm tired, I'll trust anyway. Faith that says, I'd rather wait on God than move without Him, because when the answer comes, and it will be worth every minute you waited. Psalm chapter 27, verse 13 to 14 says, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Did you hear that? You will see His goodness in the land of the living, not just in eternity, not just one day in heaven, but here in this life, in this season. God is preparing to release something that reflects His goodness so clearly, so personally, that it leaves no room for doubt. You'll know this was God, not a coincidence, not luck, but divine timing, divine mercy, divine faithfulness. And your story will shift. The season will change. The promise will speak. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when He answers, your testimony will break chains in others. Because what God is doing in your life is not just about you, it's about the people connected to your obedience, the ones who are watching how you wait, the ones who will be encouraged when they hear, if God did it for them, He can do it for me. Your breakthrough is going to stir faith in someone else. Your answered prayer will become the proof that God still hears, still moves, still performs miracles. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. That's why he tried to wear you down in the waiting, because he knew that your answered prayer would not just be personal, it would be powerful. In the book of Psalms, chapter 40, verses 1 to 3, the psalmist says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and He inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. And He hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. Did you catch that? Many shall see it and trust in the Lord. Not just hear it, not just hope from afar, but see it. They'll see the change in your life, the joy in your eyes, the restoration in your story, and they'll begin to believe again. Because when God answers, He puts a song in your mouth that wasn't there before. Not a song of survival, but a song of victory. That's what's coming. You're not just going to walk out of this season. You're going to sing your way out. You're going to praise your way into a brand new chapter, because God is rewriting your narrative. Where there was lack, He is bringing provision. Where there was silence, He is releasing a word. Where there was mourning, He is giving a garment of praise. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 3 says, God, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. He's replacing what was heavy with something holy. He's not just giving you what you lost. He's giving you what you couldn't even ask for, because He is a restoring God, but also a rewarding one. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 says, but without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he that cometh to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. You didn't just wait, you sought Him. You didn't just cry, you kept calling on His name. You didn't just endure, you worshiped while you you waited. And now God is ready to reward that. Not because you earned it, not because you performed perfectly, but because you stayed faithful in the valley. Now the mountaintop is coming. You've walked through the shadow, but now the sun is rising. You've fought through the night, but now the morning is breaking. You've sown in pain, but you're about to reap in praise. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when He does, it will come with such clarity that you'll realize every closed door, every delayed answer, every silent night had a purpose. God was not punishing you, He was positioning you. There were things in you that had to be refined before the promise could arrive. There were places in your character that had to be deepened so the blessing wouldn't become a burden. There were spiritual muscles He was strengthening in you, not just so you could receive the answer, but so you could carry it well. Because the promise wasn't just about the moment, it was about your mission. That's why God didn't answer too soon. He wasn't being distant, He was being wise. And when the answer comes, you'll thank Him that He made you wait. You'll see how He protected you from lesser things, how He kept you from rushing into relationships, decisions, or opportunities that looked good but would have pulled you away from your purpose. He was never late. He was being careful with your destiny. In the Gospel according to John chapter 11, verse 4, when Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick, He said, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby." Even what looked like death had a purpose, to reveal God's glory. Even what looked like denial was actually a setup for demonstration. And that's what He's doing with your life. The waiting, the pressing, the crying, it's all been building to this moment of God's glory being revealed through you. Because He doesn't just want to answer your prayer, He wants to answer it in a way that marks your life and magnifies His name. So don't despise the process. Don't curse the delay. Don't look back and say, "God, you were late." Instead, say, "God, you were working." And soon you'll say, "God, you were right on time." Psalm chapter 145, verse 18 to 19 says, "The Lord is nigh unto all them that call upon Him, to all that call upon Him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear Him. He also will hear their cry and will save them." He's near, He's listening, and He is about to move. Not because you were loud, not because you were perfect, but because you were persistent in faith, and He is perfect in love. The prayers you prayed in private are about to be answered in public. The doors you knocked on in secret are about to swing open, and when they do, all will know it was the hand of the Lord. You've waited, you've endured. Now it's time to see. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when He answers, it will feel like breath returning to your lungs. You won't just receive an answer, you'll receive renewal. Because some of you haven't only been waiting for a breakthrough in your situation, you've been waiting for a breakthrough in your spirit. You've said, "God, I'm not just tired of the problem, I'm tired inside." And He heard you. He saw the days when you were walking by faith, even when your heart felt numb. He saw the nights when you prayed without feeling but still chose to pray. He saw when you got up, served, loved, gave, worshiped, not because it was easy, but because you were holding on to a promise. And now He's coming to strengthen what remains. In the book of Isaiah chapter 42 verse 3, the word says, "A bruised reed shall He not break, and the smoking flax shall He not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth." That means even if your flame has been small, even if your hope has been flickering like a candle in the wind, God has not written you off. He's about to blow on the embers and cause your fire to burn again. The answer to your prayer isn't just about solving a problem, it's about reviving your soul so that you'll not only know He is able, but that He is near, that He is with you, that He has always been with you. There's something powerful about seeing the faithfulness of God after the long night, when He does what you could never do, when He opens what you could never pry loose, when He restores what you thought was permanently gone. In the book of Romans chapter 4 verses 20 to 21, speaking of Abraham, it says, "He staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to God, and being fully persuaded that what He had promised, He was able also to perform." That's the kind of persuasion God is building in you through the waiting, a confidence that says, "I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know who, and He is faithful." God has been developing not just your patience, but your trust, and now He's about to prove Himself not just as the promise maker, but as the promise keeper. You will testify, not quietly, not cautiously, but boldly, because when God moves, you won't be able to keep it to yourself. The same people who saw you struggle will witness your breakthrough. The same people who questioned your faith will will marvel at your favor, and you'll say like the psalmist in Psalm chapter 126, verses 1 to 3, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. Then said they among the heathen, the Lord hath done great things for them. The Lord hath done great things for us, whereof we are glad. We were like them that dream. That's what it will feel like waking up from a long night, like stepping into a promise that once seemed too far to touch. But it's real, it's coming, it's yours. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when he does, you'll realize that the waiting didn't weaken you. It was preparing you for wait. Because the kind of blessing God is about to release isn't light, it's not surface level, it's not temporary. It carries substance, it carries responsibility, it carries purpose. He was preparing you to carry the weight of answered prayer without breaking, to stand under the favor without falling into pride, to receive the increase without losing your dependence on him. That's why he allowed the stretching. That's why he allowed the refining, because he wasn't just trying to change your situation. He was trying to shape your soul. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. And now, because your roots have grown deep in the quiet place, in the hidden place, you are ready for what he's about to release openly. Jesus said in the gospel according to Matthew chapter 6, verse 6, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. You've prayed in secret, you've trusted in silence, and now God is about to reward you openly, not for show, not for applause, but so the world will see what happens when someone truly leans on God. Your answered prayer will not only confirm God's faithfulness to you, it will reveal his nature to others. You'll become a walking demonstration that God still provides, that he still heals, that he still restores, that he still makes a way when there is no way, because that's who he is. In the book of Exodus chapter 34, verse 6, the Lord proclaims his own name to Moses, saying, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth. He's abundant in goodness, and he is about to pour that abundance into your life, not just to meet your need, but to overflow into others. Because when God answers prayer, he doesn't just hand you a solution, he hands you a testimony, and testimonies carry power. Revelation chapter 12, verse 11 says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. That means your answered prayer isn't the end of your story, it's the weapon God will use to help others overcome. That's how much purpose is packed into your promise. You haven't just been waiting for a change, you've been waiting for an assignment to be activated, and now it's time. The season is shifting, the clouds are parting. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when he answers, it won't feel rushed or forced. It will feel right, because God is a God of order. He doesn't move in chaos. He moves in perfect timing, perfect peace, and perfect purpose. When his hand is in it, everything aligns. The people he brings, the doors that open, the timing of it all, it will be undeniable. You won't have to fight for it the way you used to. You won't have to beg or manipulate or strive, because when the appointed time comes, grace carries what effort never could. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11, it says, he hath made everything beautiful in his time. That includes your story, your restoration, your answered prayer. You may have felt like the waiting season made things messy, like life became scattered, uncertain, fragile. But God is about to make even the mess beautiful. He's about to restore the dignity you lost while holding on in faith. He's about to speak into the very area where the enemy tried to whisper shame and declare, this is where I'll show my glory. God doesn't answer prayers just to comfort you. He answers them to confirm you, to confirm his calling on your life, to confirm the word he spoke over you, to confirm that your faith was not misplaced. He is the same God who met Hannah at the temple when she poured out her soul, barren and broken. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 27 to 28, she said, for this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord. She didn't just receive the answer, she received purpose with the answer, and she gave it back to God in worship. That's what happens when God answers a deep prayer. You don't walk away with pride, you walk away with reverence, with gratitude, with the deep awareness that he did what no one else could do. And when he does it, no one will be able to take the credit, not the connection, not the timing, not your own ability. It will be God, God alone. And the best part, this answer isn't just about fixing one thing. It's about shifting your entire atmosphere. Some of you are about to step into a season where answered prayer becomes your new rhythm, where the drought breaks for good, where you don't just see one thing turn, you see a chain reaction of breakthrough. Because the God who begins a good work doesn't stop at halfway. He doesn't tease with blessings. He fulfills His word completely. Psalm chapter 138 verse 8 says, "The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever. Forsake not the works of thine own hands." He's going to finish what He started. He's going to perfect what's been broken. He's going to answer what's been prayed. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when He does, you will understand why the process was necessary. There were things you couldn't see in the moment, things that didn't make sense while you were waiting. But when the answer comes, clarity will follow. And you'll look back not with regret, but with revelation. You'll see how every delay taught you dependence, how every closed door protected you from the wrong direction, how every unanswered question brought you deeper into the heart of God. Because sometimes God doesn't answer your prayer immediately. He answers you first. He transforms you into the person who's ready to receive what He's about to give. And that's exactly what He's been doing. Not punishing, not withholding, but preparing. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2, Moses says to the people of Israel, "And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart." The wilderness wasn't wasted. It was where God tested, taught, and trained them so they would be ready for the land He had promised. And for you, this past season may have felt like a wilderness, dry, difficult, uncertain. But now the time of transition is coming. The answer you've been praying for is no longer just a hope. It's approaching as a reality, because the wilderness is never the end of the story. It's the place between the promise and its fulfillment. And once the preparation is complete, God leads you out with purpose. Just as He did for Israel, just as He did for Joseph, just as He did for Hannah and Elijah and Esther, He is about to do for you. He has seen the quiet obedience. He has honored the hidden sacrifice, and He is about to reward what no one else could see but Him. Hebrews chapter 6 verse 10 says, "For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have shewed toward His name." He hasn't forgotten. Not one prayer, not one tear, not one step of faith. Even the prayers you barely whispered, the ones you prayed while doubting they would ever be answered, He recorded every one. And now the season is shifting, not because you pushed your way in, but because God is opening the door in His time by His hand for His glory. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the answer you almost gave up on. This is the fulfillment of promises spoken long ago. And when it comes, it will settle your spirit. It will still the storm inside you, because when God answers, He doesn't just bring what you ask for. He brings Himself with it, and His presence is what truly satisfies. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. And when He answers, you'll know it didn't come from your striving. It came from His sovereignty. There's a stillness that rests on the soul when you realize this didn't happen because I made it happen. This happened because God kept His word. And that kind of answer changes you, not just your circumstance, but your perspective. Because once you see God move like that, you no longer doubt. If He can, you know He will. The battles that once shook you won't have the same power. The waiting that once wore you down won't feel as heavy, because now you carry the memory of answered prayer. And memory is a weapon in spiritual warfare. That's why God often told His people to remember, to build altars, to rehearse His works, to tell the stories again and again, because what He did before is proof of what He can do again. Psalm chapter 77, verse 11 to 14 says, "I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work and talk of thy doings. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that doest wonders." You are about to have a new remembrance to add to your story, a moment in time when you can point and say, right there, that's where God answered me. That's when the page turned. That's when the promise came through. That's when my tears turned to joy, and others will see it too. because God is not just answering you, He's using you as a testimony, as a living altar, as evidence of His mercy. There is someone connected to your breakthrough, someone whose faith will be revived when they watch God fulfill what He promised you, someone who will come out of their own wilderness because you led the way through yours. This is bigger than you, but it's also deeply personal, because even though God is working for His glory, He's also working out of His love for you. He has not forgotten the nights you laid in bed asking, God, do you see me? He saw, and He marked that moment, and He wrote the answer into your future. And now the future is near. The fulfillment is rising. The door is opening. And when it does, you'll step into it, not as the person you were when you started praying, but as the person God shaped you to be in the waiting. Stronger, more grounded, more humble, more grateful, because what God is about to release into your life isn't just a response to your request, it's a reflection of His faithfulness. And all of heaven will rejoice, because this moment was always coming. You didn't miss it. You didn't mess it up. You didn't wait in vain. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed. So let this truth settle deeply in your spirit today. You have not been overlooked, and your prayers have not been forgotten. Every whispered cry, every tear-filled night, every moment of quiet faith, they've been seen, they've been heard, and they are being answered. God has been working even when it felt like nothing was moving. He's been orchestrating details, aligning people, preparing circumstances, and preparing you. You are standing on the edge of a shift. Not just a change in your situation, but a change in your season. The dry ground is about to yield fruit. The silence is about to break. The door is about to open. And when it does, it will be clear. This was the hand of God. So breathe again, hope again, worship with fresh expectation, because the same God who began this journey with you is now bringing it into fulfillment. And the peace you've been praying for, the clarity, the healing, the breakthrough is not just coming, it's close. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the part you've been waiting for. God is about to answer the prayers you prayed, and it's going to be more than you imagined, right on time and undeniably Him.